It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450 WGNSSports.com and Big G TV.
And this portion of the show brought to you by State Farm agents Andy Womack, Dana Womack, Celeste Middleton, Ron Reeves, and Emerson Williams. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The Coach's Show continues with Stewarts Creek head coach Ben Caudill. John Dingan's with you. And we got our partner in crime is with us today, too.
We do, yep. Had my middle son, Max, here last week, and this is George's week. And he's got him a biscuit and some orange juice.
He seems a little more subdued. I mean, he seems happy, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. They look a lot alike, though.
They do, and they had one of their buddies spend the night with them last night. That was at the game, so they're living well here on the weekend.
Living the good life, aren't they? Speaking of living the good life, Stewarts Creek had a big win last night, 39-36 over Centennial, a very, very good Centennial team. I know you're excited. I know you wish probably the score wasn't as close as it was, but, man, really just those are games. Those are I hate to say it like this, but statement games. You know, that's saying Stewarts Creek's still here. You know, let's don't forget about them.
Yeah, you know, I tell you, it's always interesting, you know, that first time under the lights. And, you know, we're coaches, and it's the first game, and, you know, you find out how well you've prepared them, I guess, for adversity, you know, for a penalty that maybe shouldn't have gone, you know, against you and those types of things. And, you know, we were dealing with kids last night. I don't recall if this has ever happened that, you know, we're so just excited, I think, that they had to go to the bathroom in the middle of the game. And
really?
Just, you know, things like that. And, you know, at the end of the day, these are teenagers out there, you know, just laying it all out there for each other. And you know, we certainly didn't make it easy on ourselves, John, you know, at home with all these new faces, you know, out there for the first time and falling down 14-0. You know, that's not really how you know, write the script, but man, how we responded and the composure I felt like our leaders and coaches had, you know, to regain the momentum, you know, I think it was the difference in the game.
You know, when before the game started, we were on the pregame show, and I saw a familiar name down there, Jerry Taylor, and I looked at Rod and I told him, I said, you know, they're going to be all right. And I mean, having a quarterback with a lot of experience is such a big help. And I guess it was too, calming everybody down a little bit after getting down.
You're exactly right, John. I felt like, you know, we were talking late last night in the coach's office. You know, Jerry played like a senior last night, especially in the second half. You know, and Jerry's a point guard. He's a dual threat guy. And, you know, Bodie Reeder, who's the offensive coordinator at MTSU, when he came by this spring, you know, he told me he felt like he was one of the best operators in the entire county that he'd seen at the quarterback position. And, you know, he knows what we're trying to do. He understands the flow of the game. He understands, you know, not trying to do too much. And, you know, completing, you know, our completion percentage is something we want to hang our hat on. You know, as me coaching our quarterbacks, that's, you know, I feel like it's my job to, you know, find and keep our offense and keep our quarterback in good situations. And Jerry had some big rushing yards last night. I think he had about 82 yards rushing, some key moments. And so, you know, having that calm composure at quarterback, you know, especially in the second half of a close game, is something you've got to have.
What I like about Jerry, too, he's got a lot of ability. He can run the football as well as anybody, but he doesn't really offset it by leaving out other people. I mean, he seems to really share the football a lot, and where he could just panic and go, okay, I'm going to take it myself.
Yeah. You know, I think in this county, you know, when you look at the teams that are up there year in and year out, you know, you can't just have one guy. You know, you've got to, even when it's hard, you know, you've got to develop depth, you know, at offensive skill positions. And, you know, to me, you know, we had 5 or 6 guys carry the ball last night. And, you know, we would have had a little bit more if it weren't for, you know, maybe a little bit of stomach, you know, queasiness at times and you know, things like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm really proud of the resolve that our team showed. You know, when our backs were against the wall, we were driving right down the field. First series had a bad holding that we converted on a 3rd and short, and then we had to punt. And then the next series we were, I think, on the 20-yard line going in, had a big fumble, that I felt like if, we were kind of starting to, get into the flow of the game. And so then that kind of gave them momentum. But all things considered, it doesn't matter if it's 2-0 or 100-99. We were able to get the job done, and there's so much credit that goes to our players for, being able to adjust over the course of 4 quarters. Ben
Caudill is our guest here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, and I'm going to talk about some rushing, but total rushing, 437 yards. That ought to get you a win. I mean, even against good teams. 52 receiving and 489 total. That's kind of almost, that's elite. Offensive line, they've got to be doing their job when that happens.
Yeah, I tell you, our offensive line coach, you first off, just as a man and somebody who's closer than a brother to me, Al Haston, he played at Tennessee, White County legend, and he is just as good as they come. And it don't matter what you're doing in life, you want somebody like him by your side, kind of like Brian is to you, John.
Yeah, that's it.
And he does a phenomenal job year in and year out. And the job he did last night might be his finest hour at Stewarts Creek. And there were some big plays where we barely missed in the passing game, as well. But I tell you what, Centennial, the last 2 years they've advanced in the playoffs, and Coach Jay Graham, is obviously a legend in Tennessee football circles, and he's been with Jimbo Fisher at Florida State, Texas A&M, and his offensive coordinator is Montario Hardesty, who also played at Tennessee, coached at South Carolina here recently. 2 very, very good football coaches. They, I thought did some really good things last night. But I tell you what, I think the story was, just our resolve. And Centennial had a quarterback transfer in from Page that is a really, really good football player. And, I thought we kind of had the game won, and then he scampered on a 4th down, and scored. And we're going to shore up some tackling in the secondary and some things that we've got to get fixed there. But, we had half the penalties that Centennial had. And, I feel like that was a huge difference, John, in the game is, just not beating ourselves, in multiple ways. But, they are a really good football team, really talented at the quarterback position. It was a game for us that, I feel like, it was just kind of a weight room game, a toughness game in the 4th quarter. And, I'm proud of how our guys responded.
Jamarcus Brown, 36 carries, 258 yards. I don't know if that's a record for Stewarts Creek, but it's got to be close. Had 4 touchdowns as well.
Yeah, Jamarcus, he sat behind some guys last year, and didn't complain. I teach Jamarcus, in class as well, and what a phenomenal young man. All you're going to ever get from him, John, is yes, sir. He did a great job. Sam Bello, Cameron Moore is a sophomore out there. He's another legacy Stewarts Creek player. I coached his older brother, Jalen Moore, who ended up at Tennessee State. Jaden Stewart did a great job carrying it last night. Kingston McQueen, Jaden McKnight. I thought our offensive line did a tremendous job. Lucas Bello, sophomore center. I think he might end up being the best center that we've ever had at our school, just a sophomore. And, we had 3 15-year-olds out there at times. And just how they grew up last night. And I thought defensively, I thought our D-line, other than one quarterback scramble play, did a tremendous job of stopping the run. A lot of great things that I know Coach Wade is going to be able to build around on defense, and some new faces, out there for the first time. And for them being able to experience success, in that game 1 on a Friday night's a big deal, and it gives us all something to build around.
I think their mental makeup of your team, too, in the last 2 to 3 years has been never give up. I mean, we're always in the game, that kind of thing. And I know that's probably people say, well, that's corny. But, no, it's really true with your guys. I mean, they just have that mentality of there's no opponent too big. We're going to fight. We're going to fight till the end.
Yeah. I think they take on the character of their coaches. Coach Waite, he's been a head coach longer than me and is a tremendous leader. Coach Curtis, Coach Burnham, Coach Michaels, Coach Stone Frost is on our staff now, just got done playing quarterback at MTSU. You know, those are tremendous men, and they've played at a high level. And you know, the players rub off on that, you know, and just who they are as people, and seeing that it doesn't mean too much to them in big moments, and being able to communicate and adjust, you know, with composure. You know, in practice, maybe you can get after them a little bit more, but when their girlfriend's watching and their mom's in the stands, you know,
it's different, isn't it?
It is, and the band's playing, and so just a tremendous night for us. You know, great night to be a Red Hawk, and you know, it's going to be a quick turnaround because Thursday night we got senior night. We're actually having our senior night very early this year, you know, and be off Friday before Labor Day. Hopefully that's going to be good for our community, welcoming Stratford in. You know, their coach used to be at Stewarts Creek long before I was there, so I'm glad we were able to get this game. And you know, got a quick turnaround for us to kind of get this, enjoy this, but turn the page quickly to host Stratford this coming Thursday night.
Well, I'm sorry I missed it because there was a big spread in the press box. I mean, it was huge, and it was sent to us of what we were missing. So, but man, I'm telling you, I would take Dalton with me for that one. That was good.
Yeah, we were able to enjoy it after the game. And those jalapeno cheddar brats.
Stop it, Coach. Stop it. Let's put Coach Ben Caudill, the head coach of Stewarts Creek. Good luck to them next week against Stratford. And we'll continue, but this portion is brought to you by Dan France Concrete, our good friend at Dan France Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan France Concrete. Coming up next, we're talking Rockville football.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax